What's up? If it's your first time stopping by, I'd like to say thank you and welcome. You're watching the Robot Channel. I'm Robot. I give my thoughts on games as I play the shit out of them. Please like and subscribe if you like the content. Let's get right into the video. My thoughts on Arcade Paradise. So I recently picked up this game, Arcade Paradise, off the PlayStation Plus games. I didn't really know what I'd be in store for, but this game really catches a certain essence that other games don't. First of all, let me explain to you what the game is. It's basically a simulator game on the outside. Its face is that, but what it actually is much deeper. The story follows this girl. I can't really remember what her name is. You are her in first person, so you only see it sometimes. The pace of the game changes a lot over time too, as you play, but the beginning is very humble. Your dad wants you to take over the family laundromat and to have some responsibility as you're a college dropout who doesn't know which direction their life is going. This game is set in the late 80s, early 90s, if I had to say, when arcades were still a bit more prominent. And if you come from the era where they were, whether it be the generation before mine or my generation, when they were still around, this game can pull on your heartstrings and give you nostalgia for those days. But how it goes about doing it is so peculiar. It doesn't have any IPs other than its own, but the game will pretend to be a lot of things it's not, which is funny and cool and also sarcastic, but that's the appeal. This game is an enigma, and it's highly underrated. The way it downplays its sarcasm explains why it goes unnoticed, I think. As you upgrade the arcade, you can realize they have put in songs that sound like other songs, from the time and some not. Games that look like other games that aren't. They capture the exact essence of older games, like how they have racing games that look like older games, or this puppy dog machine that looks exactly like Breakout, and most of the games play super well. Some of them, I didn't agree with how they work. I don't like how the pool table breaks, and if you hit the ball as hard as you can on the center ball, right at the tip of the triangle, how it doesn't break all the balls in different directions, how I think real pool does. They all go to the back for some reason. But at the same time, I love their little Candy Crush games or the ball breaker games where you match balls, but I hate this Matrix type one they put in that seems to me like there's no rhyme or reason to it. One of the things about this game is its addictive loop. There's only so many hours a day. It sets some goals for you to achieve to get things that don't necessarily break the game, but make them easier. Like a manager who can collect money from the machines for you. I really like how you start from nothing in the back with a couple machines, and it's mostly laundromat. But as you play the game, you expand the arcade into the laundromat. It sounds basic, but this game is for the type of person like me, who marches to the beat of their own drum, but still can enjoy a good sarcastic simulator type game. You have to keep the arcade clean to get the bonuses on your machines. You have to do the goals to get the points. This game isn't a really long play, but it's like a good movie. And if you're like me and you start the show One Piece and in the first few episodes decide you can't stick with it because it's too long, you'll understand. Now I got a reasonable couple dozen hours out of it, or so, don't get me wrong, and you kind of go at it at your own pace. I imagine you can complete the game in longer or shorter, but another thing, I didn't 100% it here. They give you plenty of arcade machines that they make goals on that are harder and harder to attain. People that will email you if they've been to the arcade who want to battle your high score on a given machine. Now that may be one of my gripes with the game though. This is one of those experiences that it is unending, but if this studio really wanted, they could have maybe made this game loop in such a way that maybe it kept going. But you can tell how much love they put into each arcade machine. I'm probably asking for too much here. But if you were obsessed with it like I was for like a solid week or two, I couldn't get off of it. It would be cool if it just kept going. However, I didn't get its DLC. The reason I didn't is it just looked like more machines to me and I would want the full experience, expanding the shop more and the whole thing. When you get a certain point and the laundromat isn't in the game anymore, it's like a happy and sad kind of feeling. Because one thing, you've got more machines and the place looks snazzier and all, yes, but at the same time, you lose the hobby they get you into of waiting for clothes to make it to the table and then putting them in the washer, waiting on the timer and the watch for the dryer and taking them out on the table. When you get a hold of the rhythm for that and the watch going off and playing the arcade machines at the same time, that's what was really addictive. Then you get a really good quality of life upgrade like having to clean the shop less for more money. Then you see the results and it's like, oh shit, I did that. And for a simulator game, it's pretty polished. There will be irritating parts like when you get a goal you don't have time for, or sometimes they set a goal that seems to take a while, but here's the thing, that part is fun. Maybe there could have been more customization though, and the colors of the place like the walls or how you want it shaped, maybe. A lot of that stuff is linear, but also with it being linear that particular way, you don't have to actually think too entirely much about what you're doing, just what you're saving up for and what you're playing. And if you don't like an arcade machine, you don't have to play it, because the goals continue to rotate into other goals. I never would have otherwise tried this game unless it was added to Plus, and I may be soft on it. I always thought if my family had a family business that I'd take after that pretty well, but I was never in a situation that exactly fit that. At the same time, I am partial to blue-collar work, as that's how I started my career, but this is by no means blue-collar work, as funny as that sounds. It's just addictive to be doing something mundane, like how Pressure Washer Simulator can seem mundane, but when you finish cleaning a wall, you feel accomplished like you did something. That could just be dopamine in the brain going off, playing the game, and some people would rather get that from killing or sneaking around, but that also makes this one of those games with a chill space to it. So you're playing it if you set down the sticks. It could be bad, but you'd also be possibly passively accumulating something somewhere, and that's what makes the game a cool space to be in. You can sit and go hard with games or laundry or whatever you're in the mood for, or with the music going on your jukebox, or you could just play a game that you got that you'd like to play in the arcade and wait for the day to be over and get your stuff like that. You wouldn't get some of the extra bonus points that way, but they allow you the freedom to play that way if you choose. And honestly, games say they have a lot of freedom, but I don't think games actually do. In this game, other than starting off, I think you could possibly rarely do laundry and still get your business off the ground. It fast tracks it a little more, in my opinion, and they incentivize you watching the timers and doing it well enough that it doesn't feel like an inconvenience really. Call me crazy, but I actually enjoy doing it fast enough to get an S rating. Most people might think this game is stupid when you stack it up against other games, and that's what makes it slept on. It seems a little more polished than other simulator games too, honestly. Most simulator games are guilty of having a little more jank to them, in my opinion. This game gives off that weird indie flavor. It's pleasant. It may be good this game has an ending though, sort of, and ran out of certain objectives. I'd be looking for more of like expanding things and things like that, so the game would give me my life back. If all the things I described sound like something you'd want to try, you should do it. That's especially because it's on PlayStation Plus right now, and who knows how long it's staying. You got a hot minute because it was just added, but you know how games are on there. I actually enjoy doing games that don't always have intense atmospheres, that you can sort of attack at your own pace, but I have been made fun of for playing games like this. But I don't care. It's fun. Also, the ending was pretty good. Made me feel all warm and fuzzy, you know. I won't say too much and give it away. The ride was fun. It did have me Googling other games like this, and when I went to look, that's what really made me realize how little people may know about this game. Or maybe there's something that didn't take. Maybe how humble the beginning of the game actually is shoved some of the following aside, and they never got in deep enough to really enjoy the loop with some of the better arcade games and the bigger space. What I like about this game, though, is it strived to do something different. Making every arcade game playable pushed this past the regular simulators to me. Making most of them half decent and some of them, well, may have made me like it even more. Also, part of it has to be the time period, because this is nostalgia before most malls and arcades started dying out and there were still settings like this. Even in my lifetime, unless we were on a vacation near my hometown, you wouldn't really see an arcade like real deal hanging around my exact hometown. Like there must have been more in the 80s and 90s. A few machines or something at the skating rink, but that was it. You always had to go out to the mall, which felt like a nice little drive, and growing up in a time that's similarly depicted like this, even in a shadow, is pretty cool. I probably sound old, but it seems like those were better days. Before you had all the good games on your phone, and you still had to use a desktop for internet if you wanted to watch YouTube. Even this game kind of mocks that, with the BlackBerry you have, with the weird alpaca game on it or whatever. Also, the game does a good job of gamifying whatever you're doing, too. Whether you're picking your 200th piece of gum off the wall, maybe I did that, maybe I didn't. Or cleaning the toilet and it pulls up the HP of the toilet and kind of pretends like you're kicking the toilet's ass. Also, it's a reflective game. When you're in this game, they do give you room to think in the quiet times, and I like that. If I still had something to get, I swear, I'd still be on it. And those times are quieter when you aren't running the jukebox anyway. The jukebox had some good music from artists I had never heard before, and they do a good job of making that reverberate around the arcade pretty well. Who knows, maybe I'll go back and get the platinum because I like the game so much. No lie though, some of the arcade games kicked my ass, and that actually made me think I didn't want to do it. But again, that incentivizes you to play the game more, because you do have things to get better at. I do realize the appeal of what I'm talking about is probably dated a good bit, but it's about the delivery here. Maybe it's one of those games that people are ashamed to say they'd play, but they'd play when no one is looking. Well, our secret then. I think it's a hidden gem, and I hope PlayStation keeps adding hidden gems that I didn't know about. It's good to be open-minded and to try different games that you normally wouldn't have. A studio like this deserves to be supported anyway. I hope they have more endeavors, and if they ever had a niche like this again, that they fit in, I'm sure they'd kill it. One more thing about this game though. Another essence it captured that I think lays between the lines that more people will certainly not get over the ones that do, in my opinion. This game captures the feeling of being young, having priorities, but choosing to play games instead. When you played enough to notice that, or it puts you in the headspace to enjoy it, or makes you realize how long it's been since you felt that way. If you grew up playing games like me, that feeling alone made it worth the download. To this day, I've never played anything that captured that exact feeling. But that's what it is, that balance between playing the game, wanting to do things, managing the business, and getting messages on the computer. It's a ride to me anyways. Lightning in a bottle. Even if the bottle is only 22 ounces. You've been watching the Robot Channel. If you've been watching it this far and you don't mind showing a little bit of support, please pop that like or that subscribe down below. Turn on the bell for the next time I play a game and I want to tell you about it. Thank you for everything. Love you so much. Bye.